Hello viewers, this is Major General Neelendra Kumar in conversation with Commodore Ranjit Rai of Indian Navy. He had a very illustrious career in the Indian Navy, commanded 3 ships. He was the commandant of Indian Naval Academy. In fact, he was number 3 as the commandant in the list of commandants, the first being Admiral Ramdas. He was Director Operations and Intelligence at the Naval Headquarters, and he also held the coveted post of the Defense Advisor at Singapore, looking after the Northeast, the East Asia. He took a premature retirement, and thereafter also he's been active and is recognized as a strategist, expert in international relations. He's authored 5 books. While in Navy, he was a specialist navigator and Air Force trained air controller. In Going Strong, the playlist, my first question to you is that would you recollect, for the benefit of viewers here, the operations which Indian Navy participated after the independence?
Very good question. Because we don't have the media at sea.
Yes.
Therefore, the nation does not come to know of the operations. Off the cuff, I can tell you, we have done 14 major operations. Of course, Operation Vijay, Operation Trident, Operation Python in the 71 war are the major ones. But let me tell you something very interesting. In 1947 November, we had just got our independence. INS Delhi was there, old ships were there, and Junagadh decided to opt for Pakistan. So while Army was busy in Operation Polo, trying to get hold of Hyderabad, and much has been written about it, very little has been written about the Indian Navy, which went and at Jafrabad and Mangrol landed the Indian Army so that they could take Junagadh. So you must know that from that day, there are 13 more operations that the Indian Navy has done. I will just list them before we go to the big one, Op Trident, Operation Vijay. They were very, very big operations. In 1965 war, unfortunately, the government did not have experience of war. Pandit Nehru had died. Lal Bahadur Shastri ji had taken over. So he felt that the Navy, the cabinet, was told by intelligence that Ghazi is outside. Indian Navy had no submarine. So the cabinet asked Navy not to take part. But Admiral Nanda made that statement then. If war comes to India, we will go to Karachi. And he did it. In 1983, we did Lal Dora. We saved Mauritius government. Prime Minister Jagannath was in Delhi for the Commonwealth Prime Minister's Conference. There was a rebellion in his government in Mauritius. I must say, Mrs. Gandhi acted. 1983, she was there. She immediately told the Indian Navy. Indian Navy went and surrounded Mauritius, and that's called Lal Dora. It was misunderstood as India's expansion. No, it was a naval operation to save a friendly government. Then in 1986, again, there was a rebellion in Seychelles. President Rene was going to lose his job. But India coordinated with Russia, Soviet Union, and we sent ship to Seychelles, pretended that the ship has got out of order. And then Commodore Ghosh, with what they thought was engineers, actually sailors of the gunnery branch, flew there, pretended they were repairing the ship. The gun of the ship was moved, the helicopters were moved, and the president was kept safe. We also went into 2 operations to Somalia to bring back our army. They are also not easily recorded in detail because the army actually was in trouble in Somalia twice. They are called Operation Muffet. You know, we went to Somalia. So therefore, when we come to other operations like COVID, how many thousands, or we brought from water to Maldives. There was no water in Maldives, Operation Neel. There are 14 operations, but I know the spotlight spawned on Operation Vijay.
Yeah, you came up to Somalia and Operation Vijay, but I'll take you back little earlier to 1962 when we had the war with Chinese. But little prior to that, in November 61, Indian Navy had taken part in Op Vijay in the liberation of Goa. Would you like to give some details to the viewers? And that's the time when Commodore David Kirk, he was the last British officer, he left India in 62, and I'm talking about 61 in Operation Vijay Goa operations.
It's a pleasure to talk to you about Operation Vijay. I was there, but I was only a lieutenant, just become a lieutenant. I was on board on Mysore. You know, 453 years, Goa belonged to Portugal. And then when we decided after independence, what is this? ये गोवा कैसे पोर्चुगीज का है? और कुछ हिस्ट्री है पॉलिटिक्स की. Then the order was given to the army. General Kandat and General Maya and others were given the order, please go and take Goa. Now the Navy also decided that we can help, because ships that were coming from Goa, our ships were going, the Goan people used to attack our ships, because Portuguese had an army there of 13,000, but by the time 1961, they had gone down to 3,000. And they then decided that India is going to do something. You know, it almost became a naval base of the NATO. Dulles made a statement, let's quickly make it a naval NATO base. Then how could India have fought against the United States and the West? So quickly decision was taken, and I believe when the war plans went to Pandit Nehru, he said, don't show me the war plans, get me Goa. And therefore the Indian Navy went. Now three things happened there. INS Vikrant kept a cover because we had got Vikrant. The other ships went in. I was on board Mysore. Admiral Soman, I was his acting flag lieutenant. And Trishul was given the job. Now Trishul started opening up its guns, which is called preemptive gunfire. Even the army does it. You have gunfire to dara do unko. And then we sent in our boats, including one from Mysore. I remember seeing the boat being lifted down. You know what the Portuguese on Anjadiv Island did? They went to the churches. Church के अंदर चले गए और वहाँ हमने समझा वाइट झंडे लगा दिए उन्होंने कि हम सीज फायर के लिए तैयार हैं. तो हमारी जो बोट्स जो पहली तीन पुलिंग बोट्स गई, लेफ्टिनेंट केलमन, लेफ्टिनेंट कमांडर ऑडिटो, उन्होंने समझा ये तो पिकनिक है, ये लड़ाई नहीं है. जैसे वो बीच पे पहुंचे, रट टट टट फायर शुरू हो गया पोर्चुगीज का. हमारे 5 sailor मर गए. Lieutenant Kalman got injured. He was in charge of the landing party. And therefore, the second wave was planned. The injured was being brought back. And at that time, Admiral Soman ordered the 4-inch guns of Trishul and Mysore to hit. When they began to hit, it became very clear that they were going to surrender. So that was Operation Vijay. Very interestingly, we were supposed to go back. And Admiral Soman took me in his boat and we arrived in Goa on the jetty of Vasco da Gama. Vasco.
Okay.
I jumped ashore and the soldier said, हिंदी में कुछ उसने बोला कि वो पासवर्ड बताओ. मैंने कहा यार पासवर्ड मेरे पास कोई नहीं है, मेरे पास एडमिरल सोमन है. तो एडमिरल सोमन told me from the back, the password is this. When I shouted, The JCO said, "ये password आज का नहीं है." And Sobal said, "Before you open fire, let go." But Vijay was the first big operation where 400 years of Portuguese rule was taken over by India.
And the opposition that Navy encountered was that firing from the church and other places.
Anjadeep Island.
Yes,
Yes,
when
yes.
Indians, to which Indians were not, they were unprepared, they were not expecting that. Thank you very much.